Hi, my name is Zach Perry. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about insurance coverage. As a personal injury attorney, I meet with people every day who've been in an accident. One of the first questions I ask them is what type of insurance they carry, what their coverages are. Often they say they have full coverage, although I'm not quite sure what full coverage means because there's not really a specific definition to it, and when we dig down into it, often they do not have sufficient coverage. So I'm going to give you some recommendations as to what I think your minimum coverages should be, or what types of coverage. Because Nevada's minimums are too low. Everyone has to drive with some type of insurance coverage, that's the law. But the minimum coverage required in Nevada is $10,000 for property damage and $15,000 for bodily injury coverage. Those two together, what's known as liability coverage. So a lot of drivers out there only have the minimum coverage. The problem is you can do a lot more than $10,000 in property damage and certainly more than $15,000 in bodily injury damage in a single accident. It's very easy. So the first thing I would do is get more than the minimum coverage, because if you are in an accident and you are at fault, those are the coverages that will apply to the other person. And the law says that if those coverages are not enough to compensate the other people in the car, they can come after you personally for the difference. So get enough coverage to where you feel comfortable driving around. I would recommend a minimum of $50,000 in property and $100,000 in bodily injury coverage. The second type of coverage that I would get is called MedPay. Sometimes it's called personal injury protection. Because the thing about insurance coverage is it usually covers other people if you're at fault. MedPay is not like that. If you're in an accident, regardless of who's at fault, the MedPay coverage will pay for your medical bills. So if there isn't enough coverage on the other side or they don't have insurance, your MedPay coverage will cover you and your passengers. The third type of coverage is uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage. Approximately 1 in 7 drivers is driving without insurance. That's 14%. Which means if you are struck by someone who does not have insurance, you have to pay for it yourself. But if all you have is Nevada's minimum coverages, it won't pay at all because liability coverage covers other people. So what you want is uninsured motorist protection, and that'll kick in if you're injured by someone else who has no insurance. And usually it's the same coverage. It's also called underinsured, and that takes effect if the other driver has insurance but not sufficient to cover your losses. So if you're going to be driving out on Nevada's road, be careful, but make sure you maintain them at least enough coverage that not only other people you hit will be protected, but you yourself will be protected.